I have schizophrenia. My first suicide attempt was when I was 5 years old. I tried to stab myself. And years ago, when you attempted suicide or anything like that, it was considered bad and you were taken to the juvenile detention center because you were a bad child. I was threatened by this guy that they would keep me there for years if I ever tried it again. I had a very abusive father. He drank a lot of alcohol. He came after my mom and I with a hatchet because we had tried to escape. My mom had 4 kids, and I was the oldest boy, so she sent me out to live on my own. So I lived out on the streets. I lived in sewage tunnels. I slept behind people's houses, in bushes. Around the age of 13 is when I started hearing voices. And I would see, there wouldn't be anybody around, but I would hear these voices and they would be telling me to die, rot in hell, you're no good, nobody loves you. So I became really, really paranoid. I would only come out at night. I was getting odd jobs wherever I could find a place to work or whatever, which was really hard because with hearing the voices, you know, I would hear them all the time and I couldn't get them to decrease. Around 1986, I kept being found wandering the streets, not knowing, you know, who I was, talking about the voices. Cops would pick me up, handcuff me, put me back in the police car, take me down roads. I didn't know where I was going, what they were going to do. All I could think was that they were going to rape me or they were going to murder me. Eight police cars showed up, surrounded me. They had their lights on me. They came up. Now here I am, full-grown person. I'm sitting on the side of the road. I have a bag of clothes and a Sylvester stuffed animal. And the cops surrounded me. Some of them had their guns drawn. They said, "What are you doing?" They made me toss my bag over to them. They went through my bag. They made me toss the Sylvester stuffed animal to them. They made me stand up. They started frisking me to make sure that I didn't have anything on me. The whole time that was going on, they never said, you know, we're going to try to get you help, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. It was a very, very frightening experience. So frightening that at that point in time, if I had have needed help again, I wouldn't have asked for it. This time they sent me to the Florida Mental Health Institute in Tampa. And they sent me from there to the supervised departments. And when I got to the supervised departments mean that you have no freedom. I rebelled against that. That didn't go over very well. So I, again, tried to kill myself. This time I put slashes in my arms and my waist. And so they, of course, took me and put me in the hospital. I went through the hospitalizations. I went through the group home. I started having blackouts, and I would end up on Courtney Campbell Causeway at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, not know who I was, how I got there, or anything. And then all of a sudden it would be like, okay, you're Johnny, and you live here, and you have to walk back home now. I had disappeared one night, and they couldn't find me, you know, couldn't find me anywhere. At this point, I had gotten back, you know, with my mother. My father was gone and out of the picture. They'd gotten divorced and everything, you know, so I was on talking terms with my mother and my grandparents and stuff. And I disappeared. And when I disappeared, they found the body in the Tampa Bay. So my mom, here I am missing for 2 weeks. My mom's like, okay, you know, it's him. I know it's him. She starts calling all the hospitals, okay? Hospitals will not give you information. If you're a family member, if you're a friend, if you're anybody, they cannot tell you that that person's in the hospital. So one of the hospitals that she called, I was there, but they couldn't tell her that I was there. So she had to wait until another week and a half when they finally got me stabilized, where I said, you know what, I got to call this phone number. And I went to the payphone they had, and I dialed this number, and this woman answered, and I said, can I talk to you? She's like, where are you? Where are you? This is your mother. Where are you? So again, I was hospitalized. And this time they said, okay, enough is enough. You know, we've been going through this for years and everything. So they sent me to the G. Pierce Woods Memorial Hospital. That was the state hospital down in Arcadia, Florida. In '93, they let me out of the state hospital. And again, I went into a residential program. And it took a year and a half after I got out of the state hospital to get Social Security benefits. So I kept telling the lady on the phone, you got to get me help. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. You got to get me help. The voices won't stop. They're coming after me. Just on and on and on. The dispatcher's like, okay, hon, you need to tell me. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I got to get help. I got to get help. I got to get help. She says, you got to calm down. You got to tell me, what do you see near you? Finally, she got out of me where I was. And a sheriff pulled up, and another sheriff pulled up behind him. And the sheriff said, are you Johnny? I said, yes, you got to get me to the safe place. The voices won't stop. They're coming after me. You got to get me. He says, okay, Johnny. He says, here's what we're going to do. He says, just talk to me for a minute. He says, but you got a bag with you. I've carried a bag with me since I was 4 years old. I have an obsession with a bag. When I hear voices and things, I concentrate with the contents in my bag, you know. And so he says, I want you to take your bag, and I want you to put it in the trunk of the car. I'm going to open the trunk of my car. I want you to put your bag in the trunk of my car. And I'm going to get you to the safe place. The other sheriff that was with him, he stayed back a distance. He did not, you know, come at me. And this police officer didn't come at me. He says, okay, now, Johnny, I have to touch you. I have to see if you have any weapons on you. And he told me everything he was going to do before he did it, and he told it to me several times that he was going to do it. And the whole time he told me, you know, we're going to go down, we're going down here, we're going to go to a couple of lights up, and we're going to turn right, you know, we're getting you to the safe place. He took me to the facility that he knew that I knew as the safe place. And he got me there safe, and he got me there calm. And there was a big difference in that and 8 police cars showing up and surrounding you with guns, you know. And the main thing that I like to say is in my story, the things that have happened, I have met a lot of people with a mental illness who have been through physical abuse or sexual abuse. A person with a mental illness is more likely to be a victim of a crime than to commit a crime because you're vulnerable. I can't sit at home. I have to work. So I don't get any benefits now. I don't get Social Security. I don't get Medicaid. I don't get Medicare. I can't get insurance through the company that I work for because it doesn't cover mental illness. And if I take any insurance, even if it doesn't cover mental illness, I can't get my medication program where the pharmaceutical company approves and sends medication to my doctor. And now I was working 2 jobs so that I could afford to live, and now I've been forced to go down to 1 job. And if I get insurance so that physically I can be okay, then I can't get help mentally. So it's a catch-22. And also Social Security decided that the years that I was on Social Security, that they were giving me $655 a month, Social Security, and they were giving me the Medicare. Of course, they gave me $2 more than the limit so that they didn't have to give me Medicaid. So now I have medication when the pharmaceutical company approves it, and when the pharmaceutical company says, no, you made $1 too much, I don't have medication. I hope you understand, you know, somewhat of what it's like hearing voices. But now you really do have to watch nowadays because everybody has these cell phone things, and they have the little earpiece in it. So when you see somebody walking down the road and talking to themselves, they might not be schizophrenic, you know. I kind of like that because I fit into some crowds now because when I'm talking to the voices, you know.